Tell me a little bit about that, man, because I know that. Talk to me about when you first realized, and walk me through the process.
Well, it was around this time, actually, last year, that it struck me.
1 year later, God bless.
You know, it was funny because I remember everyone running to get toilet paper and running to get stuff, you know, and I'm what's going on? Where's the toilet paper? What's happening? You know? So it was funny to me, and I'm like, you know, they're saying, oh, this pandemic is happening right now, you know, COVID-19. I'm like, what the heck is that? So then I learned a little more what it was, and you know, it got me really scared. And I just said, you know, I got to be careful, you know. But then I start seeing people slacking. I seen people saying, oh, we're not going to wear a mask. And, oh, it's just it's the government. Oh, it's, you know, you heard about the 5G. You heard about all this other stuff. Right. And, you know, and people talking about the Bible. And, you know, so it was kind of scary, but I didn't want to take any chances either way, you know. I have a business to run. Right. So says I'm going to do whatever the news, you know, whatever the media says. And right. I was still wearing the mask. I was trying to be careful, but I still had a job to do, and I still had to go to work. Mm-hmm. And I remember this vividly, that it was something in Brooklyn that it happened, that the strain was very hard in Brooklyn around that time, and they had it locked down, but I had to go to work out there. And I remember another contractor, he had caught the virus. He was in the hospital. He was sick, and he went to work, and I had to go help him with something. And I feel that's where I got it from. I was in his van. We was both masked up, but still, you know, at times I would take off my glove. I had to help him with a box and stuff. Then like 2-3 days later, I was sick, and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And then I'm thinking, then I lost the sense of smell and the sense of taste. And then that's when I heard, just by browsing in the website, and you know, I had to put down I went to WebMD, and that's where I found out, hey, I might have the COVID, you know, because if you lost the sense of smell and the sense of taste, you might have the COVID. And it was scary, man. And I just went into like a cocoon, and I just said, hey, I'm just gonna do what they say. But I did a lot of praying and stuff, and I remember like maybe like a week later, I was feeling kind of better. But during that time, it was really scary. I thought something, you know, I thought I was gonna go. I was like, wow. And then the media just looking at, you know, everything in the news and everything, and they're saying how bad it was and people dying. I had a cousin that died too, and I felt that I gave it to him, and he had cancer. He had diabetes. So it's taking the people that are really sick, that are vulnerable, you know. And I'm just God, you know, that I got through it because I just, you know, I felt prayer and me just following the rules by just, you know, staying indoors and trying to fight it. And I got through it, you know, with the help of other people too.
You know, let me just jump in because I didn't introduce you properly, and I'm sorry about that. All right.
No, it's fine.
Who we have with us today, who we're spending time with, is the Chief Executive Officer of RNR Construction, right? So we understand we got a business owner who has some very real thoughts, right, that you're working with, right? So you're dealing with, you know, your business and what you need to do to continue to generate income, which is crazy within itself. Not even. We'll get into the lockdown and how you may have not been able to go out and this and that and the other. But you're thinking about now, and I fathom, you correct me if I'm wrong. You're thinking about the business. You were thinking about your family. You understand. You were thinking about yourself. Granted, you put that kind of in the back burner, but it was kind of up here. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you be stoic. You keep a straight face. All right. So, you know, and so lest I be remiss, I want to make sure that I acknowledge, you know, your business and wonderful things that you're doing, and keep on doing that, man. Let me shut up. I just had to get that out before I forgot.
No. I appreciate that. I mean, right now, my main focus is about the COVID, you know, what helped me to get through it. So I guess that's why I'm doing this interview with you, because it was a traumatic for me, you know, and I just hope I can get across to other people that watch this, and you know, when it comes down to, God forbid that they get it, that for them to say, hey, I can probably get through this, you know, just by watching this video and following the rules and stuff. Because even now, I just came from work, and you see, I'm still being protective, and you know, I still know it's out there and stuff, and it's just, it's still scary. I mean, I remember when I went through it, I was still going to work. Like, you know, I locked myself down for 14 days, and I still had to go to work, and I'll be driving to work and scared, like, and just thinking, wow, the world's gonna end. You know, look at all this stuff that's happening, you know, in the media and everything, and it's just really scary, you know. But
let me ask you just now, and this is a question I oftentimes ask, you know, when you first and understand the fear factor was something which I think is duly noted, right? And seeing what we were seeing, everybody needed to have a certain fear if you have blood running through your veins. I don't care who you were. And
exactly.
if you tell me no, then I'll be like, okay, cool. You're not telling the truth. But anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
But once you realized what was going down, did you go to the hospital? Did you come up with some home remedies? What was your deal? What
I was told not to go to the hospital because there was so many people dying. I called my doctor up. He said, just quarantine yourself, stay home, don't go to the hospital. Wow. You know. Wow. So and I really thank that doctor, because I think that's the best advice he ever gave me. Because like I said, my cousin, he died of COVID-19, and I don't know if I gave it to him, but I used to hang around him, and he had diabetes, he had cancer, you know, and that took him. And he felt kind of weird, and he went to the hospital, and that's where he died, at the hospital. So, you know, that's what it's real. So that tells me that COVID was real. Even though there are people right now that have the symptoms and stuff, and there's no signs, you know, and maybe it could be their blood type. I'm hearing so many things, you know. Yeah. It could be that their immune system is strong to hold it. I really don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I know that I got sick right around the time that it came, and those symptoms were that I couldn't taste and I couldn't smell.
Wow.
You know. So
did you run high fever, or were you
no
body aches or nothing like that?
I had body aches. It was like a flu. It was a flu, but with the but I could breathe, because I heard, you know, that's a big symptom, that you couldn't breathe. Right. I had some coughing and stuff, but it was like a bad cold, and I didn't have a fever, you know. And I just want to thank God and thank this 87-year-old lady that took care of me and kept me and kept bringing me tea and stuff and making sure that I was comfortable during the time. Because at that time I was helping them out. They how can I say, they didn't really have the resources to go out and buy stuff, and I didn't want to go home to expose this to my kids and stuff. And at the time I used to take them shopping, food shopping and stuff. So they were like, hey, you can stay here. Let's just to keep the distance, and I'm just gonna keep feeding you and stuff. And that's what I did, and I was grateful. I'm grateful for them. But yeah, they helped me get through this, and it was like, oh, you're gonna be fine, you know, even though it was a scary time, you know.
How are they doing today?
They're great. They never had any. It's crazy because they never had any. Because, you know, we learn as young people, we learn from our elders, you know, their advice and stuff that they gave me and stuff, because they've been through it, you know. So by them being so overprotective, you know, has helped them, I guess, you know, go through this pandemic that we're having, and they're fine. I mean, every day I mean, every other weekend I go, I see them, I speak to them every day, and they're just fine. They always have the gloves on, the mask. They're overly protective, and fine. So that tells me that virus is real, and it's still out there.
You know, let me ask you this. So was this? Well, there's a couple things I'm thinking at the same time. So humor me a little bit. So the 87-year-old couple that you were working with, these are people that weren't family related.
No, they actually, they started to be they were my customers like years ago, you know. Okay. They live far away, and you know, I guess they trusted me, and they knew me, and you know, anytime they own a house, and anytime there's a problem, they call me, and you know, and they knew that I was going through something and I needed a place to stay because I wasn't going to bring this to my family. Right. And that's where I stood. And you know, that's why I remember speaking with you and telling you about it. And it was like, you know, I believe in God and a higher power, and there's always a reason. I feel there's reasons for everything. So
absolutely.
It's my reason, you know, that was what saved me.
What resonates for me, and this is where I was going with that. What resonates for me is you said to me that you've known these people. These were previous customers that you had taken good care of over the years.
And now they're my family. Now they're my family. Now I don't charge. Now I go out there whenever they need something, and they return the favor. You know, hey, if you need anything, we're here for you. So whenever I need, you know, that moral support, that comfort, they're there. So
that's where I was going. See, what I'm a firm believer of is that if you plant good seeds, right, those seeds are going to come back, and you don't know if they're going to come back. You don't know if they're going to come back for you, if it's going to come back for your children or your grandchildren. But when you plant good seeds, we understand universal laws are true. And don't be one that has a spiritual base, because if you got a spiritual base, we already know that all of this has been seen, all of this has been remedied, all of this has been set up a certain way, and that whatever your process or whatever your process is for life, that's what it's going to be. There's going to be some obstacles. There's going to be some things that you got to jump over, walk around, climb over, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, because you plant good seeds, you know, you take care of people, and you're not necessarily looking for gain for it, if that makes sense. That goes a long way, and that's what that story. That's what that insight that you've just given me. What I saw, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, this is a cat who, you know, unselfishly, am I saying it right? Unselfishly, right? Was doing some stuff for an older couple. See, you said a lot of powerful things. You got to bear with me. I got to talk about what you said.
I used to be scared. These people love me because I don't want to. I can't. Okay, I could maybe tell you a little bit more, because we don't really know who we're talking about. You know, unless somebody knows me and knows them.
That's fine. But no names.
It's an 87-year-old person, and their sons were my friends, and they had muscular dystrophy and stuff. And you know, they used to be a customer of mine, where we became like friends and family and stuff. And then whenever they need something, they would call me, and I would just go out there and help them out and stuff. So at the time, I really needed their help, and they just said, hey, just come here, and you know, we'll help you out, and we'll stay, you know. And they opened their doors, and the 87-year-old lady, she's very strong, and she's from the country, from North Carolina, and it was just amazing to see them open their arms and just let me in, and say, and they would say, hey, we're old, you know, we're old already, don't worry about them. And I would cry, literally saying, I don't want to bring this to you, you know, but I didn't have no place to go, and they let me stay there, and it was amazing, you know. And I'm just grateful and thankful nothing happened, you know. So
that's such a precious story, because far too often we find ourselves thinking that there's no good folks who are out there.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Far too often, the only thing that we're hearing about is the negativity.
Yeah.
This one trying to hurt that one, this one trying to do this, trying to steal, whatever the case is. But it's so refreshing to know that there is still a fragment, if you will, of people who are still out there who will say, hey, come on, let me help you out. Let's make it work. I mean, I celebrate them. The first thing that resonates for me is that if in fact you have people in your travels who, part of the encouragement campaign, just to give you a little background, the encouragement campaign was that which was birthed during COVID. And essentially and I call it the divine intervention, just kind of dropped on me one night. Nothing about me at all. Let me quickly say nothing about Dave, because Dave is a businessman and Dave is doing what business folks do. Let's keep it that way. But man of integrity, though, man of integrity.
Exactly.
But so it was like divine intervention, and I tell the story often. It was like the encouragement campaign. Mind you, we in March when we watching 24-hour media. You know what I'm saying? And we sitting here experiencing some of the same fears and some of the same feelings that you were experiencing. Let me be the first one to say, me too, and not the movement. Me too, right? And so we were looking at all of this, and then to get this inspiration that said the encouragement campaign, and I kind of, we wake up in the morning, I blew it off, and it's almost like a dream. You sleep, and sometimes you have dreams, and you it was a good dream, but you're gonna remember a second of that dream, right? And so when I got up, I remember that morning getting up, washing my face, brushing teeth, doing the standards that people should do, and and then it came again. It was like the encouragement campaign, and I always laugh, and my people around me, they laugh when I say this. I said, what do you mean the encouragement campaign? I need to be encouraged.
Yeah.
And so out of that, we said, okay, I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know what that means. And I took out my notepad, the following mornings for many, 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 many mornings, and just began writing notes. It's like I couldn't stop. Just writing notes, just what it meant to be encouraged. What does encouragement mean during this period in time? And for me, during this period of time, people were so faced with the fear, number one, the packed stores, right? We have been in line to go in stores.
Exactly.
People couldn't go to work, right? Money was an issue. And we could go on. We both in the same space. You might have been 100 miles away, but we was in the same exact space, right? So I was like, well, we're still healthy, right? So we probably should identify with a way to be helpful. And that's a very short version of the birth of the encouragement campaign. So we move forward and set up the business and corporation, this and that and the other. And today, what we're proud to say is that we deal with food insecurity. We're dealing with clothing insecurity. We're doing, as a matter of fact, you got to send me the logo for your business, okay? Because what I want to do is I have various businesses who are in our reach. I have their logos on our website. So that this way, and if you got a website, let me know that too, because then we can, with your permission, we'll drop the link, because this is not just a movement of the COVID period. This and the disparities of the COVID period. Yes, that is important. But there's businessmen like yourself and businesswomen like yourself, and there are people from every walk of life who may not be in a catastrophic situation, but they could still they could still stand to be encouraged. If we look at, if we look at some of the things that are taking place now, from the highlighted knowledge that we now have about mental health, during this period in time, the mental health piece has really shown its ugly face. Because now folks who you didn't know before may have had some stuff going on. Now it's pronounced. And those people need to be encouraged as well. And there needs to be resources. There needs to be folks who are thinking about it in order to be able to see what we can do to turn the sting and fear of COVID-19 into resilience and prosperity and so on and so forth. And that's just the 2-minute blurb about it. There's so much more. Obviously, I'll send you, I think you have the link to the website already. Take a look at the website. It shows some of the things that we're involved with, some of the things that we're doing. But again, this whole thing changed our lives. Right. I remember very clearly you saying to me, you said, Dave, I was in isolation by myself. Right. I couldn't capture exactly where you were, but you were trying to get it together and you were trying to be thoughtful enough not to negatively impact folks. Now, we didn't have the luxury to speak like we're speaking now, so obviously we didn't unpack it. But that was my take home. And that take home was like, I want to talk to Ronnie. You know, I want to make sure that we have a chance to talk to him because I realize that the inspiration that he will bring to the table as a result of this, we don't know. And you being a man of faith, we understand we're used in various different ways. You know, it doesn't say that we claim perfection in any way. All right, but what it does say is what's in our hand. We're going to do something with what's in our hand and see what we can do to help somebody else. And so I celebrate you, for that. The thing that, as I've spoken to some other folks, they've said to me, well, I took this remedy, I took that remedy. Now I heard you say that the good folks that you were with kept giving you soup and tea.
A lot of tea. A lot of like I said, she was from North Carolina, so a lot of Southern food. I mean,
That's what I was about to say. You was good eating.
I had cornbread, which I loved. I had all the foods. I remember the 87, so I had all the foods that didn't have any salt. Everything was like, I kind of felt like I was in a hospital, because we're used to the salt and stuff, and the sasimo and everything. But still, it was delicious. And when I say, like in the beginning, when I said, I was alone, and when I say that was because I didn't have my family with me, even though they were like family because they took care of me. But I was scared for them, and I would say, hey, just leave the food there, at the door, and I'll come get it, because I was scared to give this this disease to anyone, but it was I'll never forget it. This is it's traumatic right now. And it still is, every day I go out and I'm wearing a mask and stuff, washing my hands, and I'm just trying to be careful not to bring, and I'm still afraid to hug my kids and stuff like that still, because I'm out in the field and I'm working, but I'm just grateful that, we're still alive. The only thing that has changed for me is not being able to be as close to my family as I was,
right,
and even to my friends and stuff, so it's only a selected few that we're able to bond with right now,
right,
but I'm just thankful to got through it, and I'm just thankful to be here talking to you, Dave. So
listen, man, I'm excited to have you here talking to me. and let me flip that. I'm excited to be here talking to you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is a mutual thing here. Let me ask you this: if you had to give an advisory, right, to someone who's broaching this, what would you tell them? What would be
faith?
Say again.
Have faith.
Wow.
Faith is the only thing that got me through this. A lot of praying.
Right.
And just a lot of praying, faith, and isolating myself and being humble, because when I humbled myself so much that I didn't want to pass this on to anybody, and I just stood home.
Right.
And I got through it.
Right.
So maybe it was mild, maybe I had the mild case, but it helped me. I feel, listen, with everything that we have gone through in life, and I was brought up in church, in a Pentecostal church, so with everything that I've gone through up in life, I say God was always there, and that faith has got me through all my trials and tribulations. So this happened also, and I mean, it could have been worse, you know. And like you said, I remember you saying everything happens for a reason, and maybe meeting those people that I met about 10, 15 years ago, you know, helped me, you know, and me just being humble and honest enough, because you know, it takes one hand and washes the other, you know, and they open their arms, and they didn't have to do that. They said, hey, you know, we don't want to get sick, you know, but they, you know, they accepted me, and I got through it. And, you know, I'm just grateful for that. And I believe that faith plays a major role in, you know, in me dealing and fighting with the COVID.
You know, so many folks, you know, I think there's a good many folks who grew up in religious experiences, for lack of a better term, right? I won't say Baptist, Pentecostal, Ecclesiastic. I won't get all that. Brought up in religious experiences, and so many of them, and I was guilty of this. So many of us, you know, as we grew up, we kind of turned a blind eye, if you will.
Yeah.
We said, and if I'm wrong, you say, Dave, you out your mind. But many of us said, yeah, well,
right, you're right on.
Enough, you know, I'm big enough. I know what I'm doing, you know, and God's, yeah, I believe in a higher power and all of the sophisticated language.
Yeah.
But I think that this experience for people who are faith-based, that it really gave a power boost to their faith, right? It made them say, oh, hold on a second. Now, I seen certain things, and I heard certain things, and I read certain things. I've been exposed to certain things. And there is, for me, I can't speak for the next man, but for me, there is nobody else who could be allowing me to be able to tunnel through this but my creator. Hands down, bottom line. I don't care what you say. You may not like me. Makes no difference for me. Okay, I understand that this was a process of clarification, right? I think Scripture says, if my people, if they'll humble themselves and pray, right? We got too busy. We didn't pray so much. The more the praise that we did were, and now will lay me down to sleep. Or we said, God, listen, God, I need a new car, or I need a new house, or I need a new.
I see exactly.
But this situation helped you to stop a few minutes and say, whoa. And so many of the people that I've spoken to have talked about their faith set and how, and I hope you have a chance to check out some of the other videos talking about their faith set. I mean, some folks who were physically in hospitals. You know, I talked to one of my boys the other day, another business owner. You know, I deal with business owners all day, right? And he got on the phone. He's like, yo, what up, Dave? I'm like, dog, what's good? I expect you to call me back 2 months ago. What happened? He said, yo, I got caught up with the vid. I was like, what? He said, man, I was piped up for a minute. I didn't think I was going to make. Now, mind you, this brought a new language to the table. He said piped up. I was like, what that mean?
It can mean a lot of things.
I don't know. Listen, I'm so good
and positive. So, but yeah, you would have thought it was me, a plumber or whatever, right? Like, oh, what are you doing? Some plumbing over here? Yeah.
As we began to talk, I realized that what he was saying is he was using terminology about the various tubes and stuff that he went through. And then he further articulated how his entire family had taken ill.
Wow.
Spoke to another family last month. The entire family got sick, and grace of God, they were able to come through. You know, so when you have that type of renewal, right? When you have that type of new, when you've been a recipient of that kind of favor, right? It gives you a chance to look at, in my estimation, it gives you a chance to look at, who am I, right? where am I going? What do I want to be? Right? These are things that we want to do. And some of those things that were important previously, they don't really mean so much, yeah, okay. A lot of folks tell me, say, well, Dave, listen, you've been in business for 30 some odd years. I don't understand the concept of nonprofit. I just never really saw that, in your journey. And I say to them, I said, I can't say that was my go-to. I can't, because it's a different animal. But I think it has to be cared for the same kind of way. There has to be structure, and I understand that God has been preparing us all of those who are part of his ark of safety. He's been preparing us all for a day just like this.
I like that. Yeah.
You understand? So we've been in right now. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? We've been in preparation. We might not have known it. We might not have received it. We might not have dug it. You know what I'm saying? We might have ran from it, right? But we were still consistently in preparation for a time like this. So now that we have the reconciliation of what time it is, there's some different things that we're now looking at. There's some different things that I would hope and pray that folks are evaluating differently now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so important now to say, not that you didn't do it all the time, but baby, I love you. Son, I love you.
Yeah.
Daughter, I love you. Mama, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Every time you go. When I grew up, my mama used to say, and thank God she's here. I say used to, meaning I was a kid, and she's with me still today. She said, baby, listen, never go to sleep on your anger.
On your anger. Mm-hmm.
Now, as I was a kid, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, yeah, whatever, Mom. I want to go out and play later.
Yeah.
But as an old man, post-COVID, don't you dare go to sleep on your anger. If I've wronged you in any kind of way, please, it's okay to say, listen, not for nothing. It's a mistake. Whatever. I just think that we've been shaved down to the bone, if you will. And with being shaved down to the bone, we now have the opportunity to reflesh. We can now begin to do what we were doing when we were kids. When we were youngsters, I assume you and I do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're young boys, and we was in gym class. We try to lift some weights. Right? Right? Post-COVID, we were shredded down to that little tiny kid, and now we're back lifting some weights.
It's funny you said that because I was slacking before the COVID. After it, I started working out again. So exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Listen, man, different insights and different ways of coping with it. I think one of the brothers said to me also early interview. He said that our mind is the vaccine.
It's the vaccine.
Wow. When he said that, I was like, wow. I said, open that up, unpack that, dog. Help me out. What that mean? He said, your positive mindset, your positive thought process, leaning to what you said, also your faith said, all of that good stuff. That's the vaccine. Yeah. Now we understand that there's another vaccine out there, which is now becoming available. I know there's mixed feelings in different communities, and I'm not going to get big into that right now, just because each man got to do what they think makes sense. Each woman got to do what they think makes sense, But what I will say is that anything that will provide longevity, I want it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And anything that's going to provide me the opportunity to be able to see my grandkids and be like that 87-year-old woman who I can reach, woman and man, I'm saying you didn't really clarify, but whatever, that 87-year-old person, let's put it that way, that I can reach out my hand and to be able to lend to a younger person, I want to be able to do that. So, and that's a similar sense that I get from you based on what you said today.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Listen, I always tell folks, what time is it? It don't got to be a long time to be a good time, brother. I appreciate you taking time out on a Saturday afternoon, man. You know, we got to do it again. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to you, and it's so good to finally put a face. How long we known each other?
Wow. It's been a while. I mean, what, almost 10 years, you know?
It's been a minute, man. I don't have my computer up. If I have my computer up, I can say how long, but I don't have my computer up. But I'm so excited to make the acquaintance, if you would.
Yeah. I remember when I spoke with you, it was a little after I got through with the COVID. I was happy to hear your voice. I was like, yes, I'm alive. I remember him. I remember his voice. You know, I said to you, hey, it's nice to hear you, you know, because it was scary. It was some scary stuff.
Yeah. But listen, man, you're doing the right thing. Just keep staying strong, keep staying safe, you know, keep, you know, those things that afforded you to be right here, right now. And what I would say, and I say this very boldly, I believe that you being able to come through this situation just really indicates that there's some really huge and great things in your path, and they're just around the corner. So anyway, brother, peace and blessings to you, man. I thank you so much.